And welcome back, everyone. This is episode 4 of the Basket Cases podcast.
Oh, yeah. Number 4.
Number 4. I'm your host, Kevin Henderson. With me, as always, is my sidekick, Zach Bozeman. Say what's up, Zach.
Oh, yeah. What's up? AKA Beats. You'll find out sometime.
So, welcome back to episode 4, Basket Cases. If you've been listening to the show, we just want to say we really appreciate you. Thank you. It's cool when hear some positive feedback or negative feedback or any feedback. It's all good. It's like a press, Bad press is still good press.
Constructive criticism is still criticism.
We like it all. So if you haven't yet, we encourage you to reach out to the show. You can hit us up via email at basketcasesla@basketcasespodcast.com.
Don't be shy.
Or you could shoot us a tweet.
But don't do that.
Don't shoot it.
Don't shoot anything ever.
Just type it with your fingers on your phone or something at Basket Cases LA. That's our Twitter handle. Basket Cases LA. So yeah, hopefully you're listening to the show, telling your friends. Obviously you're listening to the show if you're listening to this, but hopefully you're telling your friends and you're subscribed on iTunes and all that good stuff. So we got a good show for you today. We're going to talk some NBA as usual. A little bit of NFL. There was a big fight this weekend, in case you didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
The Canelo-Cotto fight. The Battle of Mexico versus Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Oh.
And we got a fun hip-hop game to play later. We're going to combine strictly hip-hop and the game.
Oh, yeah. You want to play that game?
No, you ready? Just kidding. Not yet. Not yet.
Gotta wait for that one. Hold your horses.
Hold on.
Hold your horses now.
So, let's get to it. The Lakers just played. We'll lead it off with the Lakers. They're our leadoff hitter on the show. The Lakers.
They're one of the most important roles in the game. You got to get on base.
They're in the one spot. They're in the one spot.
Get on base.
So the Lakers just lost to the Blazers. I didn't write down the final score. I forgot. It doesn't matter.
It was 107 to 93
Nice
Blazers.
Amount. There you go. You got it.
So whatever.
So again, the Lakers aren't listening to me. Kobe played 31 minutes. He had 18 points, 4 assists. He was a -6 in the plus-minus column. Damian Lillard and the Blazers kind of just kept cramming the ball down the Lakers' throats. Damian Lillard had a career high in assists, 13 assists. He finished with 30 points.
Big whoop.
He was a plus 22. So he was cramming the ball down the Lakers' throats. And one problem that I really had just with the entire Lakers game was just the lack of ball movement.
Pass the ball. The
Lakers need to pass the ball.
Pass the ball.
They finished the entire game with 17 assists. Blazers had 27. The Lakers just kind of looked disjointed all night. I don't know if you noticed that, but we didn't have any Lakers didn't have fast break points.
Nope.
Bad transition defense.
Did say they only got one bucket off a fast break? Or
yeah,
something?
It was ridiculous.
Nick Young's.
Yeah, there's just a lack of fluidity, so that was kind of disappointing. Again, I feel like Kobe's just playing a lot of minutes. I mean, if you really look, I've been saying it all, season long. Jordan Clarkson, I think, is the guy that needs to kind of run the offense right now. D'Angelo's going to figure it out. But Clarkson played 35 minutes. He finished 8 for 14 from the field, 3 out of 5 from three-point land, 19 points. He's just a little bit more efficient. On the offensive end, I think he's the best pick-and-roll player the Lakers have because he's not afraid to kind of attack and finish around the paint. He's got that nice little mid-range, teardrop, and he's got good legs in his three-point shot. He gets a good base in his feet, and hopefully this doesn't crash.
He's quite studly.
Yeah, so he gets a good base in his feet, and I feel like he just he's the type of player that the Lakers need to rely on, and because just look at the numbers. He's our most efficient player. He's the Lakers' most efficient player.
He's quite wide-eyed and aware.
I don't know if that if he's the most efficient player on some analytics, but I'm just talking just when you watch the game, I just feel like he's the guy that we should. I keep saying we. I told myself I wasn't going to do that, and I think the first episode.
We as in you and the Lakers.
Yeah,
No harm, no foul. And no pun intended.
So anyway, Damian Lillard had a good game. I wanted to make a couple points about the games earlier in the week. Byron Scott was getting contentious over Kobe's minutes after the Toronto loss earlier in the week. And I thought it was kind of a little frustrating, actually, that Byron was saying that he was asked if he was going to worry about Kobe's minutes. Do you worry about Kobe's minutes? Again, Kobe played more than 30 minutes the other night. And Byron said, well, I do now. And so he's basically just admitting to completely disregarding the overall master big picture plan of the season in the moment of the game. And I understand it looks like he's just trying to get wins, so that's why he's relying on Kobe so heavily. But I wish that he would realize that Kobe, this is going to be his last season, and Laker fans want to see him finish standing on his own 2 feet. And I wish that Byron would just open his mind up a little bit to the minute situation, just in case. Because if you haven't noticed, Kobe's brittle. He's brittle.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain why, but I think Byron will come around, finally get with it. I mean, hopefully just sooner than later.
Well, it's already later. I mean, he was doing the same thing last year, and that's why Kobe got hurt again. I don't know. It's just one of those things. So I'd like to see Clarkson running the show. I felt like earlier in the week, not as much tonight. D'Angelo, got a mild sprained ankle and wasn't as effective down the stretch, in my opinion. But earlier in the week, I felt D'Angelo played a nice game. I think it might have been in that Toronto game. Just more willing to attack on the pick and roll, a little less apprehensive to just kind of release the ball, just get up and
exactly.
shoot. He's looking a little more confident out there. So that was good. Obviously, Laker fans are infatuated with Larry Nance right now, Larry Nance Jr., because he brings a lot of energy to the team, and that's nice to see. It's always nice to have a good hustle guy out there. Plus, he's got some bounce. He's got springs in his legs.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to seeing more out of Lair.
So the last thing about the Lakers, I just want to bring up simply because it came from one of our faithful listeners.
Oh, yeah. Who?
Our buddy Aaron Tamayo, man.
No, I know that, man.
What's up, Aaron? So,
Aaron.
Yeah. Aaron was kind enough to email the show.
Oh, Aaron, good job on the hair, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
You keep that fade nice and tight.
So Aaron said he loves the show, makes commuting to work irrelevant. That's sweet. Quick question. When is it safe to say a draft pick is a bust? And then in parentheses, he was referring to D'Angelo Russell. So because we were just talking about D'Angelo, so that's what made me think of this email question. So my answer is kind of a technical one, if you want to be that way. But to me, it just depends on the player. I think a lot of times with bigger players or players out of college or things like that where they have a little more experience, a little more size on their side, it's a lot easier to have an immediate impact in the league. There's so many factors that go into it. Your age, your experience, your attitude. We were talking about D'Angelo maybe going Hollywood last week. Who knows what that even means or whatever that is. But just your attitude, like I said, your size. Are they making strides? Can you see things game to game? And from D'Angelo, I can. So to me, that means that he is trying out there. And I think if you can, just kind of see the passes that he makes and some of the ways he likes to move on offense, you can see he sees angles really well. And so there is hope for him, I think. And just to kind of point out a couple of things to assure you that you should still have as much hope as you could possibly want to, because it takes time, in my opinion, especially for guards. A couple players that I just went and looked up just because I knew they had rough starts earlier in their career. John Stockton was a rookie at age 22, so he was 3 years older than D'Angelo. And he went from 8 assists to 13.8 assists, so he had that 5+ assist increase when he went from age 24 to 25. So that's his third to his fourth season. D'Angelo is, 12 games into his career?
Exactly. Totally.
And John Stockton was a rookie at 3 years older than D'Angelo is right now. And it took him from his third to his fourth season to get into the double-digit assist column. And we're talking about one of the greatest passers the NBA has ever seen.
It's like Public Enemy says, don't believe the hype,
Yeah, and
D'Angelo.
And also he picked up his minutes too. Sorry, what were you saying?
I'm saying don't rely on the hype. It's like, obviously, the kid's 19. It's like, what do you expect?
Well, people expect everything from him because he's the number 2 overall pick.
That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. Don't believe the hype. He's a good player because he's number 2 overall. So watch the kid play.
Well, that's the thing. The hype just comes from the way the world is right now. The Lakers have been down for a few years. Social media and everybody knows the whole world's watching, and it's a big deal to be drafted number 2. It's the highest Lakers pick in several years. but he's a 19-year-old kid.
Exactly.
Basketball is a game that requires, especially at the NBA level, not that I've played at the NBA level, but I've been watching it for my whole life, and it's a different game. It's the best of the best. And
He's totally
so
it's a whole different planet from what he's used to, no matter how good he is. So it might take a couple years.
Exactly. So anyway, just to go back to the reason you can still have hope. Also, John Stockton, got a big increase in minutes from around 22 to 34 from his third to his fourth season. So that gave him a chance to get on the floor, which that's another thing with D'Angelo we've been complaining about is him not getting enough time. So I think we're going to see his minutes bump up a lot sooner than Stockton's did in his career. So I think D'Angelo will even have a faster progression. And then just one other player that I looked at was Steve Nash, because I knew he was another one that had a slower start to his career. He didn't average double digits in points until his 5th season, and he didn't average double digits in assists until his 9th season. Steve Nash, one of the other greatest passers of all time, didn't get over 10 assists a game until his 9th season in the NBA. He was a rookie at the age of 22, not 19. So like a 12-year – look at that. We're talking 12 years. So
yeah. And
Steve Nash is a legend. So – could D'Angelo be a bust? Sure, but we don't know yet. He looks to me like a type of player that he needs smart players around him to kind of feel his game and understand how to play him and find those angles that he sees with those passes. So it's going to take time, but the Lakers are young. The best players on the Lakers team, the future of the team, the nucleus is young.
He doesn't look like a bust. He just looks inexperienced.
Yeah. So and his teammates are inexperienced too. The Lakers are a young team for the most part. I mean, the bench is, Lou Williams and Brandon Bass are veterans and things like that. But the core of the Lakers' future is a young core.
Natural talent. So
he's going to start knocking down his jumper. I think it's going to take some time, but I see progress. He's just got to keep attacking the pick and roll and getting into the paint. So that's our Lakers rant for the day. We'll see if the Lakers are going to do anything against the Warriors. Man, I've been talking on the wrong side of the mic. Hopefully it sounds better now. The Warriors just got the best start, tied the best start, I think, with the 94-95 Rockets or something like that. For best start to a season. They're 15-0. They beat Denver tonight. They beat Chicago just a couple nights ago. And they beat the Clippers the other night. Chris Paul and J.J. Redick were not going to play, and then Chris Paul did end up playing in that game. And they asked him why, and he said one word: competition. I think we mentioned last episode Chris Paul had a groin strain, and so he wanted to go battle out there against Steph Curry and the Warriors. He did a great job in the first half, but the Clippers were up 23 points. Remember that? And in the second quarter, I think the Warriors hit a three. It was like a 20-point game, and I turned to you and I said, the Warriors are going to win this game.
Yep.
Like, because you know why? Because you just look at the Warriors and you go, they're not phased at all by being down. This early in the game, they're like, okay, we're fine. We're the Warriors. They're on a next level, play right now. That game was kind of frustrating, especially in the fourth quarter, because Blake Griffin, he frustrates me sometimes. I think Blake Griffin is hands down. It's not even really arguable. He is one of the best players in the league. No question about it. I think he's still underrated, though. People think he's, I don't know what it is about him, but I felt like in the fourth quarter the other night, he kind of shied away from the moment. He has the ability to do anything on the floor, and for some reason he doesn't know when to do it, though.
Yeah, his mental game.
Yeah, if he gets a smaller player on him, he should just go down onto Draymond Green should not be able to guard Blake Griffin.
When who's coaching?
Klay Thompson should not be able to guard Blake Griffin. It's not coaching. He just needs to get his butt down on the block, post the guys up, and finish. Just do it. And I feel like he just kind of shies away sometimes, and that's disappointing.
It's probably not because he probably doesn't practice it enough.
I think he practices a lot. I mean, Blake Griffin's gotten so much better. Every year of his career, he gets better, but that's just on the skills of the game.
Yeah.
But his mental aspect of the game is where I just feel like the Clippers complain so much. It's a culture of just whining and moaning and complaining all the time. They always look at the officials. I don't know what it is. The Clippers, they have so much talent, but I don't know what their problem is. Let's go back to the Warriors. They're more fun to talk about because they're just sick. Luke Walton is still filling in for Steve Kerr. We wish Steve Kerr well with his painful back situation, but Luke Walton just has the sun shining down on him at all times, man. He
Yeah.
gets a couple rings with the Lakers.
Talk about the golden child.
Yeah, he comes out, has his coaching debut, filling in for Steve Kerr. Best start in NBA history. It must be nice to be Luke.
Oh man.
There was some stats the other night. It's a couple days out of date now, but I saw a screen that was on NBA TV that was comparing the Warriors start to the Chicago Bulls start, the first 13 games. So I think they played 2 more games since then. But the first 13 games, the Bulls were in the 95-96 season, because obviously they're trying to compare the 72-10 Bulls from 95-96 to the Warriors because of their hot start. So anyway, the Bulls that year were 11-2 in the first 13. The Warriors are 13-0. The Bulls averaged 104.2 points. The Warriors averaged 114.9. Obviously, that was going to be higher. The Warriors, it's a new era. A lot of three-pointers.
A lot of Steph Curry.
The point differential, the Bulls won by an average of 8.7, and the Warriors are winning by 14.7 points a game. Field goal percentage are nearly identical at 48.4 for the Bulls and 48.3 for the Warriors. And the assists, 26 for the Bulls and 29.3 for the Warriors. So you look at those numbers and you see that the Warriors have a killer offense. They're playing good defense, and there's no surprise why their record is what it is. And they have a chance to make the all-time record for start to a season, break the record instead of tying it against the Lakers on Tuesday night. So
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll
I'm going to go ahead and just put one out there. I think they'll get it.
Really?
I just think
no,
so.
I agree. I'm not going to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah. So it came out earlier in the week also, just in light of the Warriors' success and the Cavs losing a couple games over in the Eastern Conference. They lost a game against the Bucks and stuff, and LeBron was just commenting, saying that he thought the Warriors looked hungrier than the Cavs. He thought the Cavs were playing like they had just won the NBA Finals rather than lost them. And I thought it was interesting. Curry had a retort. He said, he kind of was like, yeah, I see where he's coming from, but he doesn't really know what's going on in our locker room. He's like, you don't even know what kind of motivation we've got. You don't even know what we're thinking. Steph Curry's just such a confident little weasel, man. He is, though. Other big news in the NBA, the Rockets firing head coach Kevin McHale. I personally wasn't really happy to hear about that. I didn't like that decision by the Rockets, because it makes me kind of sad, because it just makes me think it's got to be for one reason and one reason only: somebody's ego, either one of the two best players or somebody in the ownership. Because if you've ever watched Kevin McHale when he worked for NBA TV or anything, he knows his stuff. If you ever watched Kevin McHale play for the Celtics all those years, he's one of the greatest players in NBA history and one of the best post-up players ever, hands down. Probably a top 3-4 post-up player ever. And if you ever heard him speak, he's just a likable guy and intelligent, knows the game. So it makes me think either James Harden or Dwight Howard or somebody in ownership just got upset and decided to, get rid of him. And it hasn't made a difference. The Rockets still don't share the ball. They still don't talk on defense. They're still having a terrible start to the season. And you could tell Kevin McHale was frustrated with the team last week. I remember I saw some post-game coverage with him, and he was saying, he was asked if he had any heart-to-heart talks or anything like that with the players. And he goes, the talks have already been had. He goes, if we're talking, we're not playing. We need to go out there and play. He was just already frustrated with the team. So they're just going to continue to play James Harden, James Harden, shoot and dribble, shoot, and do his little floppy stuff to try to get calls. And that's all.
His little flippity flappity.
Yeah. I want to talk about the Thunder real quick. I think they got a nice little win against the Dallas Mavericks tonight, 117-114, I think was the final score.
It's a good score.
Don't quote me on that, but I think it was a high-scoring game, and I know they won by 3. But the Thunder have been struggling, though. They're not really dominating like everybody thinks they're going to. Obviously, Kevin Durant's hurt, so that's a big deal. The Mavericks have been surprising, actually. They've had a pretty good start to the season. But I just don't think the Thunder are going to be all that. I don't like if Dion Waiters and Ibaka are your scoring options aside from Westbrook and Durant. I just feel like they don't have enough. They don't have that extra threat. They used to have James Harden or Kevin Martin, or just a little extra scoring, a little extra beef out that when they used to have, Kendrick Perkins. It's just the kind of different feel in OKC. And Westbrook is obviously the man. He's leading the league in assists, over 10 a game. He's also leading the league in turnovers, but the ball's in his hands at all times. He's the king. He's the whole king caboodle. He's the whole show. So concerns early with the Thunder for yours truly. Real quick, the 76ers reached a milestone that you wouldn't really think you'd want to reach, but they might. They finished. They're the first team to have back-to-back seasons starting 0-12, and everybody knows, if you're following the NBA, that the Sixers, they tank on purpose. They try to lose. They want to finish poorly every season for who knows how long to get as many high draft picks as possible and build a nice young team. Or at least that's what they say.
I wonder how long until it takes effect.
Well, they got Jahlil Okafor. That was their draft pick this year.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
I don't really like it. I think that you just need to kind of just draft the best that you can, have a good scouting and team, and do your best to just get the best players you can in the draft wherever you are drafted, and try to attract free agents. I mean, Philadelphia should be a good market to attract players because Philadelphia's fan base is so passionate. So
it's definitely not fair to the fan base.
It's not fair. I mean, who wants to watch a team that's trying to lose?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But maybe they're going to come laugh at us in a year or two, and they're going to have a bunch of young, good players.
I wonder. I wonder what it's like to be a player on that kind of team.
Right.
Tank the games or whatever.
So,
man.
Real quick in the NBA, just to kind of give you a breakdown, because it's interesting when you look at the West. The Warriors are obviously leading. The Spurs are second. But I think it's interesting that the Mavs are third at 9-5. OKC's fourth at 8-6. They're just 2 games above 500, and they're in fourth place. So there's a lot of, very similar records in the West. You got Phoenix, Utah, and Memphis filling out the top of the league. Clippers standing at 6-7, so they're below 500. They're really having a tough start to the season. They had J.J. Redick come back over the weekend, but that's not going to fix all their problems right now. They got a lot of work to do. Cleveland and Miami and Chicago are at the top of the East, so no surprises there. Everybody's having fun watching Porzingis in New York, but they're 8-6, around 8th or 9th in the East there. So that's your Western Conference standings, and Eastern Conference standings, your NBA standings for the moment.
And now I'm taking my shoes off.
Getting nice and comfortable over there.
They've been taken off.
They've been taken off. They've been tooken.
By yours truly.
There you go. So we're going to talk some NFL football, moving aside from the NBA now. And
all right.
There's a couple good games. The Sunday night football game was pretty interesting. You had the Cardinals taking on excuse me. You had the Cardinals taking on the Bengals and getting the W on Sunday Night Football 34-31. And it just kind of made me happy because I wanted to talk some smack on Andy Dalton.
5, 4, 3,
that was quick.
2,
that was really quick.
1.
It's halftime.
Hey, yo, it's halftime.
It is that time. By episode 4, you should know what that means.
It means it's halftime.
It's halftime. I definitely know what it means. It took until episode 3, but I know what it means. And, but
If you don't know what halftime is, this is your first episode, welcome to halftime.
Yes.
We drop it at the 24-minute mark no matter what's going on. And it's just the time to reflect, sit back, relax, shoot the breeze, and talk about a little life or stories or our weekends or whatever. So how you feeling, Zach? How was your weekend? Anything eventful?
Oh, man. Nothing too eventful. I've actually been getting over a little bug. Woke up with a cold on Friday, so that's been sucking. I'm a little less nasally today, but I have more energy for those listeners who noticed our lack thereof.
Yeah, we were recording late last week.
We apologize. But now we're here, and we're just glad to be back,
Glad to be back at a reasonable hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a mellow weekend myself. I'm looking forward to this coming week, though. Short work week, Turkey Day. That's going to be good.
Ooh, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't celebrate it, then
You're missing out on some good food, probably.
yes, and some good naps afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And some football and some more turkey sandwiches and then some more naps.
And maybe beers, depending on your, preferences.
If you like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found some cool stories to talk about for halftime.
Rad.
Because it's halftime. So check this out. There was a woman who had a misplaced Craigslist ad to thank for a kidney donation.
Misplaced by her or somebody else?
I don't know. Let's find out. So it was in Berlin, New Jersey. This is from the Associated Press. It says a misplaced Craigslist ad has brought together a woman in need of a kidney transplant and a donor who had lost his wife to kidney failure. How about that? Glenn Calderbank, whose wife died 4 years ago, said he ran across the ad seeking a donor while scanning a section of the site for construction supplies. He responded to the ad and is preparing for surgery on December 1st. So that's amazing.
It's like, I need a new kidney constructed.
Yeah. He said it was like the screen was talking to me. I knew I was going to be a match for her. I thought about it, then emailed them and shared my story. So I guess this guy, his wife passed away 4 years ago to kidney failure. And then the coincidence of this all happened. So that's a pretty cool story.
That's amazing.
Right?
And like you're saying, it felt like his calling to kind of give back, or
yeah. I mean, that's a crazy coincidence. It's in the
know,
wrong section of the ad or of the paper, the Craigslist.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, just he knows he can make a difference in an area where maybe someone else couldn't have for him.
Right. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Another story here. The $100,000 Citizen Kane sled is what it's called. A Citizen Kane, the movie Citizen Kane, if you don't know. Sled has been in screenwriter Herman. I'm gonna butcher this name. Herman Mankowitz's family for more than 7 decades. Goes up for auction on Monday. And so I guess, you could look into the details of this or whatever. But basically, it just got me thinking about memorabilia and movie stuff. They're saying this sled's gonna go for between $100,000 and $200,000. Got me thinking. I don't know what I would, if I'm not a big memorabilia guy. Like, I wouldn't pay for a lot of things, memorabilia wise. But there's a lot of cool stuff that I would take if I could have it.
Oh, definitely.
Is there any cool movie memorabilia you've always wanted or thought would be sweet to own?
Well, earlier we were discussing vehicles, and we came to the conclusion that we wanted the same thing, but I did come up with another one, so you can have the first one. I'll graciously give it to you. And
in this theoretical world where we get free things from movies.
Yeah, well, because in mine I can fly. But anyway, so what is yours?
Oh, well, I think it was.
I know what it is. But
we
tell
both
the good
wanted
people.
anything, but particularly the whip from Batman, the Tim Burton Batman with Michael
Whip?
Keaton and Jack Nicholson. Yeah, anything from the Batman movie. I'd take the suit and the utility belt and all that stuff.
It's got shocks and pegs. Lucky.
Yeah. But I don't know. Batman, I think, is just the coolest.
Yes.
That's cool.
And that's cool. Butthead. You'll hear more Butthead.
Yeah.
But I decided to go with the Millennium Falcon because that's just
Millennium Falcon.
I can fly around, could shoot stuff if I want to. Probably wouldn't do. I'd probably disengage the lasers.
Is that Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Oh yeah, see that.
Star Wars.
I know like 4 million people just cringed of like not really 4 million, like the 4 people that know that are listening. That's cool.
Oh, it's cool.
But yeah,
I'm
not a Star Wars guy. But I got it right. I did guess. That was my first guess.
Yeah, so you knew. It's not a big deal.
Well, I didn't know until you told me, but I had an idea.
Well, anyway, Kevin, I did not, tell him that I was going to go with Millennium Falcon beforehand, so just put him on the spot right there.
Boom.
Nothing he could do.
All right, so Batman and Star Wars.
Yeah, it'd be cool to fly around.
Movie memorabilia.
But where the hell would you park that damn thing? The Millennium Falcon?
Just everywhere I wanted to. Oh, the Millennium Falcon on the roof. Just park it on the roof.
That'd be awesome.
All right, I got another.
To, put extras. Anyway, are we done with that subject?
Yeah, we're done. We're done. Moving on.
Okay. Moving on for time's
Adele.
sake or whatever.
Adele, are you a fan of the Adele? You like Adele?
I liked Adele when she first came out, and then I stopped liking her of no fault of her own. But when she dropped off, the map and started having children, they only played that one song or two songs over and over again. And, it's not like an original argument, but it's just you get tired of hearing about Adele.
You told me more than I already knew about her, so I'm not, whatever. I just thought that it was interesting. I saw this article that said she's saying goodbye to music streaming services for 25. I guess 25 is the name of her new album.
Because she's 25 years old now, I bet.
Oh, cool. I guess, you know what, I think I did see something that said, oh yeah, it says right here, Adele's previous album, 21. I'll bet you it came out 4 years ago.
I think so.
So basically it just said you can still download the album on iTunes and you can still, get it from Target or something on CD, but you're not going to be able to stream it. She doesn't want to cheapen the value of her music. So what do you think about that? We're both kind of music fans and musicians ourselves, and obviously the topic of streaming and CDs and iTunes is like a whole other conversation itself. But just what do you think about a big popular artist deciding not to allow their album to be streamed? What do you think about that?
I think it's a good idea because, it needs to come back. The world's just gotten too free, I think, to the point where, large population appreciate musicians, but people are, they're no longer appreciating the effort and time it takes to make one song,
Sure.
And if you can just get it for free anywhere, back in the day when you had to pay for it, I agree with iTunes and stuff. I think whatever, you pay for like a song at a time, and that's kind of like meeting it halfway.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to, I think people should pay for music. Whether or not they, get a good deal on it, but I think music prices should go down. I think.
Well, the thing that's cool about music is like you pay one price and you listen to it a million times. Like very seldom do you buy a song and just listen to it one time. Like a movie, for instance, you probably don't watch your favorite movie. I know you do watch your favorite movies a lot, but proportionately, movies are a couple hours long. You pay $20 and you watch it, maybe 5 times in the course of its life, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
A song, you listen to your favorite song a million times. Like people do that all the time. So I think that anybody's complaining about the price of music, I think that's lame, especially because you could just go on YouTube and it's going to be somewhere anyway.
Well, that's the thing. I think because people need to make money because people want to make a living being a musician. That's what they're there for, and that's. You don't just walk into a store and just like take stuff out of the store or whatever.
No, yeah. I think it's fair to have to pay for something to get it. I think it's just, to me, it's kind of funny because it doesn't really matter. Everybody's gonna hear. I heard that song just blasting through like our neighbor's walls the other day. Like it's just, you're gonna hear Adele no matter what you do, streaming or not. Everybody's gonna hear her. She's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Well, she's still going with iTunes and things like that or whatever. But I think it's cool that she's kind of closing it out to like, no, like I'm not gonna do the radio thing and have you can get it for free. You can pay.
Yeah.
I'm good with promotional deals and things like that, but I don't know, man. I do know, but I could talk about it forever. There's no way to summarize it, so
let's move on then.
I'm just gonna babble.
Might as well just move on. There's a story here that says this shop combines your 2 favorite things, coffee and puppies. Now, those are 2 cool things. I don't know if they're my 2 favorite things, but it says dainty music tinkles in the background as Lola cuddles next to Rocky on a plush gold banquet. This is written by Haley Goldberg. I think I got this from New York Post. While the friendly cafe ambience might be relaxing to the local dog owners who huddle around the chihuahuas, the 2 pups couldn't care less. They're busy sniffing each other's butt. So this is some place, I guess the owner said coffee lovers tend to be dog lovers, so that's how the combo came about. You just pay like $3 and you get to walk into this little coffee house and just hang out with dogs. Whether or not you own the dog and bring it into the shop or not, you can hang out with puppies and have a cup of joe.
Mm-hmm.
So that got me to thinking, if you could like take anything in like the retail or service industries type realm and combine 2 things, what would it be?
Well, I was thinking about initially having a restaurant with kind of like a back room with beds. So for people who either ate or drank too much and got sleepy or too drunk, couldn't drive. But you'd probably have to charge for it too, because I know homeless people would find out and try to take advantage.
You might have to think that through. You might get like some drunk people that just want to go back and lay on a bed.
Well, that's the thing. You got to have somebody back there supervising.
Okay.
Just like people supervise the puppies, probably employees.
Right.
You got to supervise the drunk, horny people after a good meal. But a lot of people would appreciate it and be really, really grateful. I know I would.
I thought of one.
Uh-huh.
Check it. I thought that when you go to In-N-Out, there should be a car wash built in at the drive-thru.
I'm with that.
Because think about it. Like, I don't know about y'all out there. I try not to eat burgers all the time. But if you're in Southern California or Vegas or Arizona, let's be real. You got to have In-N-Out like once a month at least, right?
Right.
So like once a month. But think about that. Once a month, that's perfect. Once a month, you get the bird crap off your car. You get a nice cheeseburger. You're going to be sitting there for 15 minutes waiting for your cheeseburger anyway. You might as well get a clean whip out of it.
I agree.
So that was my idea. Combine a car wash.
Where would you put the car wash? In the drive-thru?
It would just be like one, like like at the gas station, they have like a drive-through car wash. It would just be like part of the
So
drive-through.
it'd just be like, okay, just drive through
Yeah,
it, and
you
then
just drive
after
through
you
it.
come out, you continue, and then get your food,
Yeah,
and then leave.
yeah.
Great.
See, yeah,
I would do that.
totally. So, I think that's enough for halftime. I had like 2 more stories, but that's enough of that. So let's move on. I believe we were going to start talking some NFL. And the Cardinals, I was saying they beat the Bengals. And I just wanted to make fun of Andy Dalton. That guy's a wuss.
That guy's a wuss.
Thanks, butthead. I agree with you. It happened right after. I didn't get a chance to watch it last week, but it was after last week against the Texans. And J.J. Watt talked some smack, just like the most G-rated smack talk of all time. He said we wanted to make the red rifle over there look like the Red Ryder BB gun or something, like I think it's from A Christmas Story or something. and so the comments got back to Andy Dalton in the post game presser, and he goes, "Oh, I'm real disappointed to hear JJ say that. You know, I got a lot of respect for JJ as a player, but you know the integrity of the game. You know, a lot of kids look up to JJ." And I'm like, dude, you're a professional NFL freaking football player, bro. You can't have somebody talk Christmas Story smack after they just beat you. Oh my gosh, you wuss. What a wuss. What a wuss. Yeah. So anyway, Andy Dalton, I'm glad you lost tonight.
You losing wuss.
I think my dad was at that Cardinals game, by the way. He lives in Arizona.
Ronnie.
So. Yeah, Ronnie.
What up, Ronnie? Shout out. You better listen to our other episodes, bro.
Yeah.
I hope you have.
Hope so too. If not, whatever. We don't need you.
We don't need you. We don't need you where you.
Cam Newton was in the news a lot last week because people were complaining about him dancing in the end zone, and his response was just, "Hey, if you don't like me dancing, then keep me out of the end zone." And you know what? I say that wins because it's football, and everybody just needs to shut up about dancing in the end zone. It's entertainment. It's football. Who cares?
Seriously.
Like some mom was like outraged because he was like, you know, doing pelvic thrusts. It's like, are we talking about Elvis on freaking late night television? Right. Get out of here.
Is this 1952?
Jeez, don't blame everything in the world for the way your kid is coming out. Just talk to your kid and get over it. Joe Flacco went down today towards ACL and MCL, so that's a bummer for the Ravens, but they weren't having a great season anyway.
So he's like, thank God I don't have to finish that.
Nah, who knows? Vikings-Packers. The Packers got back on track with a 30-13 win and tied up the division. I think they get the tiebreaker now, so that's good for them. Romo returned to the Cowboys, and they beat the Dolphins 24-14. And even though they just lost 7 straight games, they're still right in it in the NFC East. 2 games out of first place.
Built a nice little safety net for themselves.
Texans beat the Jets 24-17, and the Colts beat the Falcons 24-21. The Panthers are still undefeated. They beat Washington 44-16, so they had a big offensive day. The Bucs beat the Eagles, so the Eagles are just hurting as usual. Sorry, Eagles fans, but you know
you're becoming endangered.
Yeah, 45-17 in that one. The Broncos beat the Bears 17-15, and the Rams lost in that Ravens game 16-13.
Broncos and Bears, Rams and Ravens.
That's not all the games, but that's most of them.
Quite alliterative.
The Patriots play the Bills tomorrow, and I was just thinking, hey, do you think that the Patriots want to go undefeated this season? Like, I know that you want to win every game that you play, but just thinking about the Patriots, on one side, I would think the competitive nature of them would be like, yeah, we want to go finish what we tried to do a few years back, you know, in the Randy Moss year and all that when they lost to the Giants. Because they have been undefeated before, only to make it all the way to the Super Bowl and lose. Mm-hmm. And I got to imagine that's like the worst way to lose ever, to make it all the way undefeated and blow it like that. Mm-hmm. So I was just thinking, do you think that they want to finish this season undefeated?
I don't know at this point with, teams losing games on purpose to get higher draft picks. Who knows?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Who knows in this world?
Who cares?
So let's move on. Football and basketball are covered. There was a big boxing match over the weekend. I don't really follow boxing a whole lot. I hear a little bit on the radio. I'll watch a fight if it's a big deal, but for the most part I don't. But this weekend I wanted to watch it. I heard so many good things about Canelo and Cotto, and I wanted to check it out. So I watched it at a friend's house and had good food and good company, and it was a really good time. So you know who you are, thanks. That was awesome. And Canelo beat Cotto in a decision for the WBC middleweight title. And like I said, the Battle of Mexico versus Puerto Rico. It was a well-fought match. I thought that Canelo was just was too big and too strong for Cotto. He was willing to stand in front of Cotto because Cotto just didn't have enough power to really do anything to him. But overall, I didn't think Cotto had anything to be ashamed of. He was an older fighter, a smaller fighter. He stayed pretty live on his feet, so he had good conditioning. He was in shape for the fight. He took mostly body damage, but he stayed strong. But he just wasn't enough for Canelo. It was a good fight, though. I thought for a boxing match after the last one, watching the Pacquiao-Mayweather just atrocity of boringness.
For a couple dudes duking it out.
Yeah, that was a fight. So that was cool, and those guys were respectful of one another. And Canelo was a little heavy in his feet, I thought, but his power just was too much for Cotto, and he just wasn't fazed by Cotto's power. So that was the difference in the fight. I thought for every one strike that Canelo landed, it took like Cotto 3 strikes to have as much impact on Canelo. Like it just wasn't a really fair fight as far as like their physicality.
Right.
And after the fight, Canelo said he'd put the gloves on right then and there to go up against Gennady Golovkin, Triple G. So that would be interesting. I guess fight fans like him. He's a relatable guy. He's fired up and fiery, and he's not ducking fights, so that's cool.
Yep.
And sticking in the world of the fight game, moving on over to UFC. There was a UFC card in competition on the other airwaves, counter to the boxing match, and I just recorded it and watched it later. Kelvin Gastelum, who won the Ultimate Fighter 17, fought Neil Magny, and who filled in for Matt Brown, who didn't fight due to injury. He had to drop out 3 weeks ago. And Magny won by split decision. The crowd didn't like it, favoring Kelvin Gastelum with his Mexican roots, but because the fights were in Mexico, by the way. But Magny won by split decision. And the other thing I wanted to talk about in the UFC was some Ronda Rousey backlash. A lot of people were hating on Ronda after she lost, telling her, that's what you get for, having such a big ego and
a bunch of dorks.
Well, some people like her swag, some people don't. A lot of people thought it was cool because she was a woman to have that type of swag that a lot of males like to show.
And it's
quite
entertainment,
often.
like we're talking about always.
To me, it's entertainment, and if women are empowered by it, that's cool. If little girls are empowered by it, that's cool. She did definitely have a little bit of an attitude problem if you paid closer attention to the details, and if you watched the Ultimate Fighter show and just saw she is a hothead and stuff. But like you said, if smarter people can realize that it's entertainment. It's not really like you need to look up to a fighter and what she does on a reality TV show.
Right.
But anyway, somebody who was pretty passionate about the backlash and wanted to defend Ronda Rousey was fellow UFC fighter Uriah Hall. And he made some kind of colorful comments, especially considering the timing. He said, "It kills me how people this." I'm quoting him, so deal with the grammar and stuff. It says, "It killed me how people true color shines, how one woman changed the face of the sport, inspiring men, women, and kids to not only reach a dream but change the game. At Ronda Rousey is still a legend. Yes, we all fall, but some of you guys are no different from a terrorist, SMFH." That's shaking my effing head in case you don't know. "Just remember, at the end of the day, all you have is words." That's what he wrote on a post that has since been deleted. And so anyway, he went on and said, "Y'all MFers type away," and blah, blah, blah. But I thought that was interesting that he came to such an, impassioned defense against the people giving her a little backlash. And then he went on to justify his words and saying he stood by what he said, but obviously the terrorism remark was not the wisest time in the world to say something like that. So he went on to say, if you notice from the post, a lot of that people that commented on it weren't haters, and they got what I was saying. But the haters, they were like, hey, you trying to say that UFC fans are like terrorists? I'm like, I didn't say UFC fans were terrorists. I said fans are terrorists. Certain fans act like it. Think about it. What does a terrorist do? They effing kill you. They take your life away. They take away certain things. What does a fan do? They kill your dreams, kill motivation. So here's my conclusion on this whole story.
He sounds bitter.
And he sounds just like a guy who doesn't think before he talks too much. I understand his points, but
That's like so cynical and pessimistic. That's what fans do. They tear you down and they kill your dreams. It's like, well, no, that's not what they do.
Well, you know what it is.
Crazy fans could potentially contribute to that.
I watched The Ultimate Fighter, the season that he was on, and when he lost to Kelvin Gastelum, the guy we were just talking about who fought last night, and he's a emotional kind of sensitive guy, and it doesn't surprise me that he would act like that, but also, he should have better judgment with his word choice, probably.
I agree.
But anyway, that was just the fight talk for the weekend.
Fight talk.
You want to do a little game?
Back in the game now.
Ready to play the game? You want to play that game? Back in the game now.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We're going to play a cool game today.
Cool.
It's going to be quite a challenge,
Challenge me.
but we'll do our best.
Challenge accepted.
So, here's the game that I decided would be maybe a good time. We're going to do the top 10 best-selling rappers of all time, but we're going to do it password style. So, we're going to give ourselves, what do you say, like 60 seconds? I'll set a timer.
Okay.
And I will have one word to say, and you have to guess the top 10 selling rappers of all time based on that word. So I'll give you one word, you guess the name of the rapper.
Gotcha.
Y'all can play along as the Mobb Deep comes on.
Uh.
So 1 minute on the clock.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Set. Go. Papa.
Biggie.
Good. Notorious Big IG. Number 9. Move.
Ludacris.
Nice. Number 8.
I don't like him.
Wrench.
Wrench. Pass.
Okay. Number 7. Barking.
DMX.
Yes. Missouri.
Pass.
Okay. Leprechaun.
Wait a minute. Dude.
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
Who looks like a leprechaun? I can't talk.
Oh, I don't know. Pass.
We have 15 seconds. Okay. Caucasians.
Eminem. Beastie Boys.
There you go.
Eminem.
Bandana.
Tupac.
Bandana.
Tupac.
Tupac. Got it. You got Eminem. I didn't have to say anything. Beyonce.
Jay-Z.
Got it. There's the timer. Okay, so we didn't get them all. How many did we get? We got Papa. We got Ludacris. Wrench. I was trying to get you to get to Hammer. MC Hammer.
MC Hammer. Oh.
Yeah. And then you got Barking. You got DMX. That was
I don't
awesome.
even think of MC Hammer as hip hop, even though
know.
I totally.
But it made sense though because he
Awesome.
had that best-selling album on the last list we did a couple weeks ago or whatever.
Oh, right.
Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri. Nelly is from Missouri.
Oh, yeah, I would have known that one.
Leprechaun, Outkast.
Okay, I wouldn't have gotten that one.
Yeah, like Key and Peele did a sketch that made where he like Andre 3000 looked like a leprechaun. It was hilarious.
Liam Neeson's a Willie.
Bandana was Tupac, Caucasians was Beastie Boys, Beyonce was Jay-Z, and I was gonna say Detroit for Eminem, but you got Eminem anyway.
Detroit.
So that was an interesting thing. We can play a little Strictly Hip Hop and talk about that. So number 10, Biggie. That's kind of, to be expected. 12 million albums sold for Biggie.
Mm-hmm.
Ludacris, 15 million albums sold at number 9 on the list.
I wonder why, man. I don't know. Biggie, I understand.
He's
Luda's not my man.
He's a big time dude, man.
Yeah.
He's in lots of movies, and he's been around for a while now.
promotion.
Yeah.
Self-promoted.
Yeah.
Half of these rappers were still alive too. They probably would have outsold.
Yeah.
Even the list would be whatever.
So number 8 was MC Hammer. He sold 17 million albums.
And still lost all his money.
Yeah, right.
Or
Number
spent-
7 is DMX. He sold 18 million albums.
Damn.
Nelly has sold 22 million albums. Number 6 on the list.
22 million.
Yeah. Outkast has sold 25 million albums. Number 5 on the list. The Beastie Boys have also sold 25 million. Number 4 on the list. Tupac Shakur sold 31 million albums. Number 2 on the list would be Jay-Z with 33 million albums.
Uh-huh.
And check this out. Jay-Z is number 2 at 33. Eminem number 1. How many? Okay, if Jay-Z's got 33 million, how many you got Eminem for at number 1?
53 million.
52 million.
Oh,
Damn.
almost twice.
Eminem's eating, Mo. He's eating. He's eating.
I think that's why
like Diane Keaton.
Speaking of terrorists earlier, any of those terrorists gonna come up in here acting froggy? We got this.
Oh, lock. Oh man, that was fun. So another thing, just real quick, we don't really talk a lot of NHL. We probably will when the playoffs roll around because I love the NHL playoffs. It's really tough to follow hockey and the NBA all at the same time when they're all going on, especially with football and fighting and all that stuff. Hockey to me is much more of a postseason sport, just personally. But a cool thing that the NHL is doing, I think, is they're going to a 3-on-3 format for their All-Star game because it opens up the ice. That's what they've been doing in their overtime things instead of the shootout, I guess. They've been doing a lot of the 3-on-3 thing, and I guess the fans love it. It opens up the ice, get a lot of scoring chances just back and forth, and the winning team gets a $1 million prize. So I don't know if that's per player for the whole team, but nonetheless, the NHL. That's what you always think. Oh man, these athletes, they just need more money. But hey, the money's there anyway, so they might as well, if they're gonna make it more entertaining for you, you might as well just enjoy it. Oh yeah,
Money ain't a thing.
we got to do that because we're talking about it. It's just part of the rules, man. So, did we get to everything today?
I think we did everything.
I think we got to everything.
I think the show's over.
Yeah, that was a quick show. So, again, we want to thank you guys for listening. We want to encourage you to hit up the show, Basket Cases LA at basketcasespodcast.com on the emails, on the interwebs emails.
On the electronic mailing system?
Yes, on that one right there.
Oh, yes. It's a good one.
Use your personal computer for that.
Mm-hmm.
And Twitter at Basket Cases LA. We want to tell everybody happy Thanksgiving from the Basket Cases.
And remember, people, what Thanksgiving's about. It's not about drinking, getting drunk, and eating. It's about the pilgrims and happy Thanksgiving. Have fun from the Basket Cases.
That's right. So let me play the outro music. Make it official here. And we'll encourage you to hit up the show, like I said. Watch the Lakers this week. Watch some NBA this week. Watch Monday Night Football tomorrow. Give us a question. Give us a topic for halftime next week.
Or don't. Whatever you want to do.
Or just keep listening, and we appreciate that immensely.
Immensely. And remember,
You're
it's just a basket case.
Aww.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll see you next week for episode 5. Later.